Hello and welcome. In this video I want to give you an introduction to the flame editor of Swan. When you start Swan, there is always one random flame created. You see its icon at the top and the flame is loaded into the editor. When you create or load new flames, the icon bar at the top will fill up and you can then switch between these flames by double-clicking on an icon. To load flames or generate a random flame, use the New Flame menu. Here you also see a list of your recently created flames. You can also use flame templates to generate new flames. By default, there is only the Add Blank Flame template, which creates a blank flame with one transform and a square variation. You can add your own flames as templates in the application settings. Visit the Flame Editor section and select up to 5 flames from your flame library. They will then be added to the New Flame menu. Choosing a template creates a new working copy of the template. Back to the Flame Editor, there are two important parts: the main editing view and the flame attributes tree. In the main editing view, you can edit certain flame attributes in a more artistic, almost painterly way. In the flame attributes tree, you select the part of your flame that you want to edit. Depending on the section, you might be able to edit the attributes directly in the main editing view. But any attribute can also be edited in the section below the flame attributes tree, which is context sensitive. So depending on the flame part, there are different controls here. First example, editing the camera. Select the camera node in the flame attributes tree. You'll see the main view has changed. There are now camera guides. You can directly drag the fractal inside this view. Doing this, you'll see the sliders in the section at the bottom right updating accordingly. You can also change the camera using these sliders. When you're not satisfied with your changes, you can undo them at any time by pressing the Undo button. There is also a secondary preview for showing the camera controls. You can also use this view to drag the camera with the mouse. To have more control over mouse-based editing, there's a little toolbar. Here you can choose if you want to move, rotate or zoom the camera. Second example, editing gradients. Each layer has its own gradient, so you'll find the gradient editing controls under the corresponding layer node. Here you can see a preview of the current gradient, load a different gradient or generate random gradients. All gradient changes can also be undone. To select an existing gradient, press the Choose button. It will open the gradient library, which has a huge collection of gradients you can choose from. To edit gradients, press the Edit button, which opens up the powerful gradient editor. The gradient editor is curve-based and allows you to edit your gradients by choosing from two color models, RGB and HSL. HSL is the default, but you can switch between both models at any time. And when you do this, you'll notice that the color curves change. There are also special functions like replicating or blurring a gradient. Third example, editing affine transforms. Affine transforms are also found under the layer node. Here you see different nodes for the affine transform and the post-affine transform for convenience. When you click on an affine transform node, you see the classic triangle editor. It shows all existing affine transforms in the form of triangles. You can manipulate the triangles both in the main editing view and in the edit field section below the tree. Again, here you also see a secondary preview, which only shows the triangles. In some cases, this allows simpler editing. You can enlarge the secondary preview by pressing the Expand button and shrink it back by pressing the Shrink button. For affine transforms, it's often very important to hit the exact numbers you need. So there are 4 ways of editing to help you with that. First, use the sliders. Second, enter numbers directly into the number field. Third, use the small arrow button surrounding the number field. Fourth, click on the label of the field and move the mouse while holding the mouse button. By double-clicking on a label, you reset the value of an attribute to its default value. To save your flames, use the Save Flame menu. When you hit Save, the current flame is saved under the same file name it was loaded from, but the existing flame is not overwritten it's saved as a copy with a numeric file extension beforehand. And when you hit Save As, the Flame library is opened and you can specify the new file name for your Flame as well as some meta information like the author name. You can specify the default author name in the application settings under Flame Meta Info. So all your Flames will get this author name as the default value. This is the end of this video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next. Bye.